Hello and welcome to the English Listen Lab. Today, we embark on the hilarious and inspiring journey of Max Carter, a young man with a dream so big, his wallet couldn't keep up. But did he let that stop him? Nope. Instead, he made the ultimate sacrifice, living on instant noodles for 20 years to save money. Was it worth it? Oh, you bet. Let's dive into Max's ridiculous and heartwarming journey from broke dreamer to the founder of a creative empire. Chapter 1. The Dream, Too Expensive to Chase. Max had always been full of ideas, crazy inventions, futuristic designs, mind-blowing business models. His brain was a non-stop factory of creativity. The only problem? Creativity doesn't pay rent. Max wanted to launch his own creative studio, a place where young innovators could build, experiment, and bring wild ideas to life. But there was one tiny issue. He had exactly $4.57 in his bank account and a fridge containing nothing but expired ketchup. Clearly, he needed a plan, a cheap plan. Chapter 2. The Ramen Revolution begins. After a deep and slightly depressing life reflection, Max came to a conclusion. If I can't make more money, I'll just spend less. But how? Rent? Unavoidable. Bills? Kind of important. Food? Aha! That was the answer. Enter instant ramen, the savior of broke people everywhere. With just a few cents per meal, Max figured he could survive on nothing but noodles. And so, his legendary ramen diet began. At first, it was fine. He got creative, ramen with soy sauce, ramen with ketchup, even ramen tacos, which, by the way, should never be attempted. But could he really do this for years? He was about to find out. Chapter 3. The Struggle, aka Ramen Fatigue. The first few months were easy. Cheap food, fewer expenses. What could go wrong? Well, everything. After a year, his friends started noticing. Max, why do you always smell like noodles? 2 years in, his doctor raised an eyebrow at his diet. Have you considered eating an actual vegetable? 5 years in, his taste buds staged a protest. We can't do this anymore, man. But Max? He stayed strong. He kept saving, kept dreaming, and, most importantly, kept slurping. Chapter 4. The Genius Idea That Changed Everything. One day, while eating his 5,732nd bowl of ramen, inspiration struck. Why not turn my struggle into a brand? And just like that, Ramen Hustle was born. A blog documenting his wild journey of sacrifice and ambition. He shared budgeting hacks, motivational stories, and, of course, way too many ramen recipes. To his surprise, people loved it. Broke students, struggling artists, even entrepreneurs trying to cut costs, they all followed his journey. Brands started reaching out. Sponsorships rolled in. Suddenly, Max wasn't just a guy eating noodles. He was an influencer. Chapter 5. The Leap of Faith. After 20 years, yes, 20 years, of saving, Max finally had enough money to launch his dream project. He rented a space, gathered a team of young creatives, and officially opened the Ramen Hustle Innovation Hub. It wasn't just a workspace, it was a movement. A place where people with big ideas but small wallets could collaborate, learn, and build something incredible. Word spread fast. His story became legendary. News channels called him the man who built a business on ramen. Not entirely accurate, but catchy. Investors showed up. Suddenly, Max wasn't struggling anymore. He was thriving. And best of all, he never had to eat instant noodles again. Chapter 6. The Unexpected Problem of Success. Max had spent 20 years dreaming of this moment. His own creative innovation hub, packed with ambitious young minds ready to build the future. But there was one small issue. He had no idea how to run a business. Within the first month, he realized that keeping a company afloat required more than just big ideas. There were bills to pay, paperwork to file, and, worst of all, taxes. At one point, he stared at an invoice for office chairs and thought, was eating 20 years of ramen really worth this? But Max wasn't about to quit now. He had sacrificed too much, including most of his taste buds, to give up. So he did what he had always done. He learned and adapted. Chapter 7. The Ramen Hustle Goes Global. After months of struggle, something incredible happened. Max's story spread beyond his city. News articles, social media, even international interviews, all talking about the man who built an empire on ramen. Companies reached out, offering sponsorships. Investors wanted in, and young creatives from all over the world started applying to be part of the Ramen Hustle Innovation Hub. One day, an email arrived that made him drop his coffee and cry just a little. A major investor was willing to fund expansion. More hubs, more resources, more opportunities. For the first time in his life, Max realized something shocking. He had made it. Chapter 8, The Return of the Ramen King. With more funding, Max could finally expand. He opened branches in different cities, creating spaces where dreamers, innovators, and broke geniuses like him could bring their ideas to life. At one opening event, someone handed him a cup of instant ramen as a joke. The crowd laughed. Max held it up like a trophy. "This," he said, "is the reason we're all here." The room erupted in cheers. That night, Max realized that every struggle, every flavorless meal, every skeptical look from his friends, every moment of doubt, had led him to this. And the best part? He was helping others chase their dreams too. Chapter 9, The New Mission. With his company stable, Max could have relaxed, bought a fancy car, and retired on a private island. But no, that wasn't his style. Instead, he doubled down on his mission, helping young people with big ideas but empty wallets. He launched scholarships, mentorship programs, and even an initiative called Ramen Fund, small grants for aspiring creators who just needed a little help to get started. For the first time, he wasn't just working for his own dream. He was making dreams possible for thousands of others. Chapter 10, The Final Bowl of Ramen. One evening, after a long day, Max sat in his office and looked around. His dream had become reality. He had gone from a broke guy eating instant noodles alone to the founder of an empire that changed lives. As he sat there, someone knocked on his door and handed him a steaming bowl of ramen. "Boss, you gotta eat." Max chuckled, picked up his chopsticks, and took a bite. For the first time in 20 years, the ramen actually tasted good. Thank you for listening to Max's journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fun English listening practice. See you in the next episode.